to build a house or dacha, according to Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, in order to increase their population. In our case, we're trying to shrink our population, but in the case of Russia, they know better. They want to expand population, even offering free land. Some people were trying to compare Somalia with the Philippines, but of course we all know that there's no comparison. Now, this is very interesting. The census years from 1799 to 2007, how our population growth moved. In 1903, it was 2.07, 1918, 2.03, it went up a little in 1970, but in 1975, you can see that there's a gradual decline. 2.78, 1980, 2.71, 1990, 2.35, 1995, 2.32, 2000, 2.36, and 2007, 2.04 without RH. Population growth is declining without RH. But these are the more interesting figures. The population growth rate, this is from the NSO, the population growth rate by region, National Capital Region. From 2000 to 2007, it went up from 1.06 to 2.11. But this is primarily because of immigration. But as far as the Philippine population growth rate is concerned, it went down from 2000 to 2007, from 2.36 to 2.04. Let us now go to the other regions. Cordillera Administrative Region, 1.83 to 1.5. 1.5, there is no problem. The target, if I'm not mistaken, of the RH is to reduce it to 1.6. CAR has no problem. Ilocos region, from 2.15 to 1.1, according to NSO. There is no population growth problem in the Ilocos region. Cagayan Valley, from 2.25 to 1.13. Central Luzon, 3.17 to 2.36. But the reason for that is because of immigration happening in provinces like Bulacan, Pampanga, Zambales, Subic, etc., etc. In Southern Tagalog, in the Calabarzon area, from 4.07, 4.08 to 3.21. But again, the reason for that is because of the rapid industrialization in the Calabarzon area. But in Mimaropa, the island provinces, from 2.67 to 1.49. In the Bicol region, the region of the author of the RH bill, from 1.73 to only 1.2. There is no problem in Bicol. In fact, it's very, very low in Bicol. Western Visayas, again, the region of one of the authors of the RH bill, from 1.56 to only 1.35. There is no problem in Western Visayas. In the Central Visayas, from 2.81 to only 1.59. In Eastern Visayas, the home of the chairman of the Committee on Population, from 1.51 to only 1.12. Wow. The population growth rate in Eastern Visayas is very, very low. In Western Mindanao, 2.12 to only 1.83. Northern Mindanao, 1.99 to only 1.67. It is in Central Mindanao, in Southern Mindanao, 2.41 to 1.71. In Central Mindanao, admittedly, it's still relatively higher than the other regions, 2.69 to 2.41, but declining already. In the ARM region, from 3.73 to 5.46. Perhaps the author of the RH bill should go to ARMM and talk to them there. In Caraga, the region of the president of CBCP, 1.63 to only 1.25. It's very obvious, my dear colleague, that there is no population growth problem in practically all of the regions, and the only regions where there is a relatively high population growth rate is because of industrialization. Some people are saying that our population increase is going to be a negative as far as the GDP is concerned, but this is belied by our growth rate over the years. From 1980 up to 2009, you can see that there is a steady growth, especially from the period 2002 to 2008 and 2009. In spite of the complaints that they have about the population growth rate, you can see that there's a very sharp upturn in our GDP. Now, you will see also, based on the NSO, how our population growth rate has declined over the years. From the decade 1960 to 1970, 3.01. down to 2.75 in the 1970s, in the 1980s to 2.35, in 1990 to 2000, 2.34, in 2000 to 2007, 2.04, and in the recent years, 2.05 to 2010, it is only 1.95. You can see a steady decline here without the RH. So there is no need, very obviously, for the RH, but because of this steady decline. This is also the comparative figure as far as population and GDP is concerned. So we can see how population is moving with respect to the GDP. You can see a steady increase in population, but there is a much faster increase in GDP. Again, let's go back to the OFWs. Their inward remittances increasing over the years. BPO, this is now one of the high-growth sectors of our economy. Now at about 500,000, in fact, with an annual revenue of $6.1 billion, and it is projected that this sector is going to overtake the OFW sector in about 3 to 5 years. And again, the reason for that is the human capital, the demographic dividend that Mr. Nandan Nilikani is talking about, because right now our model for development is the Indian development model. And the good news is that after using India as a model, we have in fact overtaken India. We are now the #1 as far as call centers are concerned. A few years ago, we were envying India, but right now we have overtaken India. And for those people who say that we are an underdeveloped country, take a look at this. This is a 180,000 deadweight ton bulk cargo vessel proudly made in the Philippines. This is one of the largest vessels ever constructed in the world. And today, the Philippines, yung sinasabi ng mga iba na nagre-retrogress na tayo, look at this example of development. We are now one of the top shipbuilders in the world. And the reason for that is because of our vast manpower in the province of our Deputy Speaker, Pablo Garcia. So yun lang po. Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Congressman Golez.
Question. Hindi, gusto ko na malaman yung data ng nabotas.